yourself.
Who is it?
Hey!
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good, welcome.
Yes.
Come on down.
Oh, it's hot in here, huh?
It is, I'm sorry. Need a breather?
Yeah, just like the
How about a
stairs.
bottle of water?
The stairs. You forgot the you forgot about the stairs,
Yeah, the
huh?
stairs.
See,
The
everybody
stairs.
complains about the stairs.
All right.
Come on, I do those stairs every day.
Yeah, no, I'm not in shape anymore.
Very
Just
cheap.
kidding, no, I totally am, but.
All right, so they've been prepped. They know your name. I just didn't tell them your graduation.
Okay.
Because I couldn't remember. I'm sorry.
All right, yeah, no worries. Oh, wow.
And yeah, I know I'm old. What do you want from me? And whatever you, this is your floor.
All right, sounds good. I'm gonna take a seat because I'm kind of tired from upstairs. All right, my name is Shortus. I graduated in 2013. Probably the best class that you'll ever hear about. Let's see. All right, so high school for me was extremely. I don't even know how to say it. It was a very long roller coaster ride. So my freshman year, I ended up getting no credits for my year. So all the credits I received were actually through credit recovery that I failed also once my freshman year. So going into what was supposed to be my sophomore year, I gained 10 credits, and I was still a freshman. Sophomore year kind of went by, still kind of doing the same thing. Freshman year, I got in trouble once. I don't know if you guys know who Mr. Westwater is, but he was my dean at the time, and I went into his office, and because I was always in and out of there, and he goes up to me, he's like, because the whole thing was that I was skipping class in the auditorium. Don't do it, it's a bad idea, you'll get caught. All right, I was skipping class in the auditorium. They thought we were like doing drugs or something like that, so he goes to search my bag. He searches my bag, and he's like, "What do you have in here?" I was like, "Mr. Westwood, I have a pillow." So he looks at me, and he's like, "You have a pillow?" I was like, "Yeah, I have a pillow." So I was asleep in class all the time. Like my freshman year was like a joke. I didn't really care about it, but honestly, truthfully, it's probably the most important year as far as like your transition stage, getting accustomed to everything, making sure that you understand that this isn't middle school anymore, and that if you fail your classes, you honestly won't get the credit for it. And then at the end of the day, when your graduation requirements need to be met, if you don't have the credits, you're not going to graduate. It's as simple as that. They don't beat around the bush or anything like that. Sophomore year goes on, kind of still doing the same thing, didn't break my habits until probably like towards the end, where like I got caught for drinking at the sophomore gathering. Don't do that. It's a terrible idea too, because you will get caught. So it wasn't until after that I kind of like reflected on myself, and I was like, all right, you know what, I'm kind of messing up. That was the first time I've ever been suspended from school. I mean, I guess you could say a troublemaker, but at the same time, I wasn't like disrespectful to my teachers or those above me with a higher power than I did. I never talked back or anything like that. It's a normal thing to be talkative, I guess, but you kind of have to draw the line at some point when you're talking to somebody, who's your teacher or any adult in general. You have to have that respect for them. But anyway, so sophomore year, that's when I kind of reflected. Going into what was supposed to be my junior year, that's when I started, kind of picking it up. I was like, all right, I need to graduate on time. I really don't want to stay back and fall behind and graduate the freshmen from last year, because, that's a big deal. A lot of guys that I went to high school with actually didn't even graduate. Like, a lot of my old friends, they didn't graduate. They got into a bunch of bad drugs, and so some of them have kids. For a lot of them, the guys that, kind of started falling behind, they didn't graduate either at all or on time. Student athletes that, like, had amazing talent. Like, I'm not going to say any names, but amazing athlete, right? D1 prospect. Started falling behind the school and then, gets kicked off the team. So that's where you kind of have to, like, start to realize, all right, you know what, I need to start bettering myself and stuff like that. So that's where I kind of got to my junior year, which I wish was a lot sooner because I wouldn't have gone through hell and back to graduate on time. And then, so what happened was I was also involved in sports here. I did gymnastics for 4 years. I won a couple individual championships with gymnastics. And I wanted to continue doing sports, and I wanted to stay in school and day school. You know about the night school option? I don't know if you guys know about that at all. So what ended up happening was I signed up for night school in the fall. So I would come in here for 7:15 in the morning, get out of school same time as you guys do, 1:50, go to practice in the winter, and then get out and then go to night school. And I'd be out of this building at like 8 or 9 o'clock. I forgot what time it ended. So it was a really long day for 2 years. I was basically going to night school full time and then going to day school full time, doing sports, and then I also worked on the weekends at Air Apostle. So I was always keeping myself busy once I realized that I needed to get the mojo flowing. Senior year comes around, and it was kind of like an easier breeze because I started getting into those better habits of doing my work. Realizing that it's crunch time and I need to get there, I need to graduate, blah, blah, blah. So I was, I think, 2.5 credits shy, but the high school ended up working it out with me. I did a couple extra after-school activities, with Mr. Ty and then within another program, so I did that and I ended up graduating on time with 0 credits at the end of my freshman year. So, to get there though, it was a really long process. It was extremely long days. It was very stressful. Not to mention, I still needed to make money because my parents have little income. So, on the weekends, I was over at Air Apostle and Neptune, doing crazy hours. But end of the day, ended up graduating. But that was only because I realized that I needed to push myself. I needed to do better and kind of do what was always expected of me. When you go home, you have I'm sure there's a mixture of good and decent students in here. Not to say that in a bad way, but different types of work ethics. At the end of the day, though, when you reflect on yourself, I don't know if you guys do that at all. Before you go to bed, you think about your day. Oh, this kid drank sour milk at lunch because we replaced it with whatever, right? And then you laugh about it, or you think about your teachers, oh, they were such blah, blah, blah. But you should be thinking about, all right, well, I spent all day at school, doing what, everyone's expecting. You go to school to do school work and to learn. And how much that benefits you is all depending on yourself. So what can you do to make things better, to make things easier? Even if you're not, I wasn't the smartest kid at all. But, I was kind of getting towards the end of my junior year. For me, a C+ or a C in general was, awesome. I thought that was, an A because my GPA freshman year, I'm telling you, was unscaled. It's unheard of. Unheard of. It was insane. I can't believe that year even happened. But, yeah, something to think about when you guys go home and stuff like that. Honestly, think about, what can you do to make yourself better? It sounds like a whole lot of hoopla, but I came home some nights and being like, all right, well, how did I do that? Honestly, wow, who am I trying to impress? When high school's over, if you look to the left and right of you, you're not going to see half these kids ever again. I'd probably see maybe 20% of the people I graduated with. Not even a lot. I still have my close friends, and that's it. A lot of guys that were tight with each other, a lot of the girls that were good friends with each other, they don't really talk anymore. Not in a bad way, but it's just, it doesn't happen. Everyone goes into different aspects of their life. So what I ended up doing after high school was I joined the Marine Corps 3 days after I graduated from high school, so I think it was June 7th I graduated. I shipped out June 10th for basic training, and I spent 13 weeks out there, down in Parison in South Carolina. And that also helped me improve on my ambition and respect, our core values of honor, courage, and integrity. stuff like that. You know, it all played a big role into like who I am now. As far as like high school as well, because if it wasn't for people like, there's a good amount of teachers in here that have a great drive to help students, and I didn't realize that until I got out, or I came to the end. I was like, you know, like, I'm not gonna say any names, but there was definitely, for every year that I was here, I had one person that drove me, you know, like that was up my butt and like almost lit it on fire, you know. It's like, it's insane, like but they do that because they honestly do care about you. Some of the teachers in here, I was never like, there's one that I was never like too happy with, but you know, that's just the reality of high school. Like, we're not gonna like our teachers, and then, you know, obviously the way we think back is that, you know, the teachers don't like us either. That's not always true. Usually if you have a teacher up your case, it's because they care. Because they want you to do better and improve on yourself. Or else, there was this one teacher that stopped doing that, and that was the second I realized. I was like, for that teacher to go up my butt all the time, 24/7, to tell me to do things and do my homework and yell at me and blah 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 every single day, right? For her to stop doing that and stop caring, I was like, I must be doing something so wrong, to the point where, you know, I'm starting to let people down. That was the worst feeling I've ever had in my entire life, and like at that point in my junior year, that's when I started picking things up. I was like, all right, let's do it, blah blah blah. I'm all over the place when I talk, go past, present, future. Anyway, so came back home for 10 days when I came back from boot camp. Just kind of hung out with friends, and that's when I kind of realized things started to change after high school, because everyone is at school. I'm calling people, I'm like, hey, what are you doing? Let's hang out. And they're like, oh, I'm at Springfield, I'm at UMass, I'm at blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, all right, yeah, cool, I'll see you when I get back, blah, blah, blah. My friends that were here at home, they're, you know, either they're going to BCC and working on their 2-year transfer, or they're just working, or some of them are just in bad positions where I just didn't even want to hang out with them. So you get a good mix of like people doing their own thing all over the place. Went back after my 10 days, went back to North Carolina, down to Camp Lejeune, where I trained to be an infantryman. So that was another 3 months of training, so on a total of like 6. Lived down there in the barracks for a little bit. I checked into my first active duty unit with 2-2 down in North Carolina, and then I transferred over to the reserve side of the Marine Corps. So when I did that, I came back home and decided to sign up for school and then go back to my old job at Aeropostale. So at that point, it was what, 2014? Yeah, 2014, like January, that I came back home. Went back to school, went back to work at Aeropostale, and then from there I gained like a whole bunch of different jobs. It's been insane. I worked there for 3 years, and then I went over to coach in the Rentham Outlets, and then worked there for a little bit, and then I found a job at Hanoush Jewelers, where I'm at now, where I literally stand there to look pretty and sell jewelry. And then I still work there at Houghton Physical Therapy as a PT tech, so I'm doing that as well. And then I just picked up a third job at Jake and Joe's, being a slave as a busboy. So I'm working 3 jobs now. Still in the Marine Corps, except on the reserve component, so I'll go there once a month, do my training. How long we're there for that month, it depends on what we're doing. So we have like different missions and stuff like that, where you know, if we're out in the field and we're doing like platoon-size attacks or squad-size attacks, we'll go out in the field for about 4 to 5 days within that month, and then we'll do, but it's like back-to-back, it's no sleep, it's high-paced and we're moving. So I'll go do that, and then we train once a year also for a longer period of time, 2 to 4 weeks, depending on what we're doing again. This year we're going to Bridgeport in California, up in the mountains. So we have to get accumulated to the environment there because it's so high up that we'll be there for 4 weeks. So it takes 2 weeks to get us used to to get used to the environment before we can actually start doing any real training where we, you know, run around and do like all that stuff that you see on TV, Modern Warfare, hoopla. That's half of it's not even true, but that's the best way I can explain it. Meanwhile, so you know, I'm going to school full time, studying criminal justice. My concentration is in Homeland Security, so I won't work for DEA or FBI or CIA or you know a federal agency. So I'm taking 4 classes there. My schedule right now, if you guys want to kind of take a mental note of what life after high school is like. I go to school Monday, Wednesday, Friday. My Mondays start at 7 o'clock. I'll work from 9 to 6 that Monday, and then go into class at 7 to come home, do homework, and then I go back to work on Tuesdays, and then Thursdays and stuff like I work 40 hours basically, so I have like no day off except like Sunday and a Thursday or a Friday or something like that. So that's my Monday schedule. Tuesday I don't have school. Wednesday I have class at 8 a.m. until 11, and then I'll go into work from like 12 to 9. Friday I have school from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. and I'll get out of school, and then usually that's my day off, so I'll kind of just hang out. Saturdays and Sundays, 9 to 9, working till whenever as a slave, because that's what it's like. You have to make money. Sundays, 10 to 6, I'll be working, and then that one weekend a month, obviously, I'll go away, and then I'll do my training there. So that's what my schedule is like. So I'm all over the place, and then whenever I'm at Hohen as well, if I'm working at Hohen, it'll be on a Tuesday or Thursday at 5 a.m., and that's even a longer day because I'll work 5 a.m. to like 2 p.m., and then I'll go into Hanush from 2 to close. So extremely long days for me, but I like to stay busy, to keep myself on my feet, give myself a little challenge. As far as like BCC goes, I'm still working on transferring. So I think I'm coming up on my last semester next spring. I'm hoping to transfer to Sal Regina University or what was I looking to? Westfield State University as well. But it's crazy. I look back on where I was at in high school to now, and I totally would have never pictured it like this at all, not even close. It was just like that person that I was, you know, my first. You guys do semesters or trimesters?
Year now, freshman.
Year?
Well, it's trimester classes, but like this class is all year, and then like their history class will be 2 tries, and.
Wow, that's a long year, huh? Yeah. So I mean, like my first trimester or semester, whatever you want to call it, freshman year, to who I am now, 2 completely different people, and that'll go for every single one of you when you get out of here. You'll be 2 completely different types of people. I can't say that I know anyone that stayed exactly the same from that day 1 to the end. Either they made themselves better, you know, like I don't know if you guys remember Bobby McCluskey. Yeah, Bobby, he was kind of a shy kid freshman year, but he made himself better academically, well-rounded. Like he was just all like he goes to Mass Maritime now, my buddy. He was like he's one of the smartest kids I know, at least. But he just only made himself better. He was good and then made himself better. The kids like, you know, that didn't start off so well, they either made themselves worse or, you know, improved from where they were. There's a great story on one of my old friends from middle school, Andrew McCall. You guys probably seen the whole like, trend on Facebook because it's getting pretty big. He was like on Time magazine or something like that. He was on some type of magazine where he was a recovering addict from high school, doing heavy drugs, and now he's, you know, kind of doing presentations like this all over the place. But it's crazy where one point in your life takes you to the next. You know, right now you guys are sitting here listening to me spin out a whole bunch of hoopla, and then the next day it could be you up here talking and kind of giving your outlook on what happened and stuff like that. But as far as anything else, I think I kind of just said it all. So if any of you guys have questions on kind of as to what I do in any of my jobs or what I would have done differently, yes.
Is the reserve paying? Are the Marine Corps paying for your college?
The Marine Corps will pay for part of your schooling. So there's two different ways that the military in general will pay for your school. On the reserve component, it's called the Selective Montgomery Bill, which will pay you a certain amount each month to go to school. So I receive $368 a month to go to school. If I would have stayed on active duty and done my 4 years, the GI Bill, the post 9/11 GI Bill, covers 100% tuition. I know the Army National Guard covers 100% of your tuition as long as it's within a state school. Another way that I could receive full benefits for my tuition being paid for is if I were to get deployed. Things are getting pretty nasty out there right now, so I'm kind of, I'm hoping to get deployed because it's kind of like, I know it's sad to hear from the other side, but it's kind of like practicing in football or playing your favorite instrument every day and then not getting to play a show or playing in game time. We're doing all this training where we're out there and and let me tell you, the Department of Defense, they're extremely cheap people. All right, we've gone out there and we've yelled bang bang because we don't have rounds to shoot. It's I'm not even kidding. You're laughing, but I'm totally not joking. It's like bang bang, and like they'll scream at you. They're like, "Why aren't you yelling bang bang?" I'm like, "Because I'm not 5." But yeah. So that I want to get deployed. But as far as school paying off, being paid off for is it all depends on what route you want to go. You'll receive a partial amount each month, or you'll receive 100% tuition. On top of that, if you are on active duty, I believe the post 9/11 also covers for a partial payment of books and stuff like that. Housing they'll pay for as well on the post 9/11. So overall, the post 9/11 GI Bill, if you can get your hands on that, it's better than the reserve benefits.
Does anybody else have any other questions? Just in the interest of time, so just a few questions, because I need you guys to do that last reflection piece, although we can do more questions if you answer that last reflection piece while people are talking and while Boris is answering. Go ahead, Andrew.
Was it hard to change during high school?
Oh, extremely hard. I have buddies.
Teachers, please excuse this interruption. We have...
Write your reflection now.
First of all,
that last box, the last box.
immediately after school today in room 1.
Oh, and put your name on this paper too. Put your name on the paper if you didn't already.
Again, immediately after school today in room 170 by the pool, there'll be a meeting.
Ladies, make sure your name is on the paper too.
Secondly, we ask all teachers to please move your food collection boxes, even if they're empty, and I certainly hope they aren't, but please move your food collection boxes to the hallway so that our students from Leo Club and National Honor Society can collect them immediately after school. And also 2 announcements about the dance tonight. Everyone needs to be aware that the entrance for the dance is at the pit. So even if you have to park on the pool parking lot side, you must enter through the pit. The dance starts at 7 o'clock. We do not plan on opening the doors any sooner than 6:35 p.m. Also, you are reminded to consult the student handbook as far as your behavior on the way to dances and at dances in terms of the consequences that are associated with improper behavior that is not consistent with our mission of personal responsibility here in Elmore High School. This concludes the afternoon announcements. Have a great day.
I think that was a great question. Guys, if you still have questions that we don't get to, I can easily send them to Jordan, so that's not a problem. If there's a question you really want answered, like circle it, and I will happily send it, and I'm sure that he will write back to me. You're gonna leave them on your table. Have a seat though, because we've still got 2 minutes left of class. Did you wanna add anything else to Andrew's question?
Yeah, as far as like, changing in high school, I'll make it quick. You have to be hungry for it, you have to be ambitious towards, wanting to change and changing your habits and stuff like that. Not hanging around with the same people, and no matter like what their views on, you hanging out with them are, it's yourself, better yourself and make yourself better. So if that, means cutting off some friends, then cut them off. Go ahead.
Do you think it would have been easier to change earlier in the year or?
Yeah, absolutely. The quicker you realize when you need to change things up, the easier it gets. So, it's just all a matter of time.
All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your time. Thank you, jurors, for coming in. Leave your papers and your chairs.
Have your representative.
Thanks, you too. You guys enjoy your weekend.
Yeah, I'm on this weekend.